What's up guys, my name is André, I'm the CEO of edgeful.com, and in this video we're going to cover the report discovery page. So you can also find the link to it right here, but what the purpose of this page is to be able to allow you to explore all of our 100 plus reports in a very seamless e-commerce like manner. So think about when you're on Amazon. You want to look for a black water bottle and you want it to be 5 stars and you want it to be prime only. You'd go on the left side here and you'd click black, prime, 5 stars. And then you'd know that everything in here would fit your criteria. That is the same exact concept that we have here, except for the reports. So you have your filters, you can look for report types, you can look for report categories, you can look by trading style and by shortcuts. So in this case, you can go through and you can look at, let's just say you want to look at only volume reports. You click on this and you're going to see our volume reports. Let's say you want to look at just price action. You would click that, uncheck this, and now you can see all of the price action reports here. Now, it's important to note that these are separated by category in here as well. So let's say you want to look at just session analysis. You would just uncheck these, and now you can see session analysis is included. And then let's say you want to add support and resistance through the indicators. You're going to see them right here. So on this page, there's really a few things that you can do. And I'm going to put on my market open and close strategies. There's a few things that you can do from this page. There's really 3 main buttons. One of them is the bookmark button right over here. You can see that this blue means it's bookmarked, which means that it will actually appear right over here. And then this gray version that means it's not bookmarked. So if I were to bookmark opening stats, you're going to see it appear right over here. Right there it is. Then there is the explainer button and the go to report button. The go to report button is obviously very clear. It will take you to that report page. But this explainer button, it brings up, first of all, it magnifies the image, the explainer graph. And most importantly, it will give you a 1-sentence explainer of exactly what the report is measuring. So in this case, we're looking at the gap fill report. You can see this report measures how often price today touches the previous session's closing price. Every single one of our reports has this 1-sentence explainer, so you don't have to actually go into the report to see what it does. And from here, you can either bookmark it or go to the report. So keep in mind that everything you bookmark will appear right here on the side. This is going to allow you to quickly navigate to all your favorite reports. As we add more and more, I don't recommend having to go back and forth from the Discover page to the report pages. And if I just click on this gap fill right here, you don't need technically to add everything, or you don't have to go back and forth from the report page to the Discover page because you still have the report drop down right here. But bookmarking it will make your life a lot easier. It will allow you to jump from price action reports to volume reports to indicator reports just in one click. So there are a few main pieces that we've added with this new design, and I'm going to cover each of them throughout this video. So starting on the left here, we have moved the navigation bar from being horizontal across the top to being vertical. From here, you can select your asset, which will change the tickers that you have available. So if you switch over to stocks, this will turn into stocks. Then you can choose your report type. So this right here, if I select volume, will change what appears in this dropdown, which is for all the reports. Now, it is a much better experience to explore the reports on this Discover page right over here. So I highly recommend that if you are looking for reports, explore that here, bookmark them so they appear on your bookmarks bar. But let me just go back to this quickly. We gave you the option to still go through the reports, so you don't have to go back and forth from report discovery back here, but I do recommend to bookmark all the reports that you use. You can still, right here, this is the date range. This is how you check, this is how far back you want the report to look. So in this case, we're looking at the gap fill report in the last 6 months. This is how you select your session right over here. You can select the New York, we have some defaults, New York, London, Asia, daily, and then you can also create custom sessions. So if you come over here, you click on create custom session. I do have one templated from before, which I can delete. The way to add a new one is you click on this plus, and then let's just say you want to do a New York early session that starts at 8:30. You click save, and then that will appear here. Now keep in mind that it's really important that you know what session you're looking at because it filters the data only for the price action within that session you're looking at. Then these sub-reports, these are filters on the reports. So right now we're on the gap fill report. You can see we have some sub-reports. If we look by weekday, for example, this will allow you to filter certain reports by certain weekdays. It's really important, actually, side note, to check this out because every weekday does behave very differently across the board. Now, if I just go back to my standard here, you're going to see I can customize this report. Over here, this is where you can change certain aspects of the report you're looking at. So for example, the orb report, opening range breakout, you can change the orb size, you can change the time frames, etc. This gap fill report, you can change how much of the gap you want to be filled to consider it a gap fill. Some people like to trade half gaps. This is where you can do that. If you want to see your customizations, you just hover over this. We are actually going to make a change to this so it will be appearing down here in smaller font, just so you don't have to hover in case you do forget what's what. Now we talked about the sidebar. Now I'm going to talk about this center area here. We have added the what's in play or the live data to each of the report pages. So you can see right here, we're looking at NQ and we're looking at the gap fill report. This is the current price of NQ. This is how far away price is from the current gap. And if you go to the opening range breakout report, by the way, it will have the orb what's in play. So you can see with each of these tooltips what each of these mean, but this is how far away price is from the gap. There is a gap up today. The gap size is 0.7. Your target or the gap fill is this price right here. The gap has not filled yet, which is right here, and your bias should be bearish looking for that gap fill. So that's the what's in play section within the report page. Now, if you scroll down, we always have the visual representation of the results right here, always a table representation with some more details. Then this table right here will break down every single day that makes up these results. So you can actually go in and dive into each day. Now, this is the explainer section. This is where you learn about the reports. Right here, we start with the video. These videos are extremely important. They're at most 5 minutes. They tell you exactly what the report is measuring, how you can use it with live chart examples. Anytime you come across a new report, I highly recommend going straight to the video to make sure that you have no assumptions, all your questions are answered. Worst case, you can also reach out to our support right here, send us a message and ask any questions you need. Now, scrolling down, we also have the explainer graphics right over here, so some different situations, and then off to the right, we have the explainer text. So this is, what does this measure? How can I use this? The last thing that I'm going to mention here is this bookmarks bar. If you're on any report, right now we're on the gap fill report, and I just click on the orb, it will automatically change the orb, it will automatically switch to the orb. This watch list is really important too, because right now I'm in NQ, which means I'm in futures, but let's say I want to switch over to Tesla, which is obviously in stocks. Click on Tesla. In one click, I've changed my asset and my ticker to be on the same report that I'm looking at. So to add to your watch list, it's very simple. You just click over here. It will take you to the watch list page, which you can also get to right here. And from here, you can add, like let's say I want to add ETH to my watch list. I can click that right here and it will add down here. If I want to remove it, I can take it out. If I want to add NVIDIA, type that out, add, and you'll see it appear in my stocks section. Really, really important to use these. It will make your experience a lot better. And then same thing with the bookmarks. I highly recommend that you use these bookmarks. You can do it from over here. You can do it on the report discovery page right over here with these buttons. So the way that you can find it is right up here on the top of the navigation bar. You click on what's in play and it's going to bring you to this page here. So let me tell you what the purpose of this section is. This actually will tell you when each of our reports are setting up using live data. It'll give you all the relevant targets, your bias, your gap sizes, your orb sizes, your opening candle continuation, anything that you need to know about the report will be in this page, all using live data. So you never have to know, or you never have to memorize what reports are setting up, when they're setting up, when they're not setting up, when they're no longer in play, or when they are in play. So there are a few things that you need to know on this page. As of right now, We have it for stocks and futures. We're going to be adding crypto and forex soon, but right now it's limited to these two. Then over here, this is where you can actually select your ticker. One thing to keep in mind is that we definitely recommend that you use this watch list for everything on Edgeful, but it can also change the ticker you're looking at here on the What's in Play section. So if you have, let's just say, ES and you want to look at ES, you click right here. It will automatically change to ES. You want to go back to NQ, you go back to NQ. Now, the final thing, which is actually really important when you're in the futures category, is this session. So you can look at the New York session or you can look at the London session. This is obviously going to change the start and end times of your sessions. So in this case, it's 11:30 Eastern time here. The London session is over. So in this case, I'll just show you right now, you're going to see the post market. So everything has already happened here. It's no longer going to be live. The market is closed or the London session is closed. So always keep in mind what session you're looking at. You can change it right over here. We're also going to be adding custom sessions in the future where you can go and actually add a specific session that you want to look at, or if you want to look at an early New York session, that is coming as well. So the final thing off to the left here is going to be the reports that appear in this section here. So for example, this is a great example actually. The gap already filled on NQ today. So there's really nothing else that you need to see. The status is filled. We remove all of the information. So typically what you'd see in here is whether there's a gap up, the gap size, the bias, everything that you need to know, your target, how far away price is from the target will appear in here. But once it fills, it's no longer in play, so you can see everything goes away. We don't want you to really focus on that because that report is done for the day. So in that case, you can uncheck that, and now your gap fill is gone, and now you can focus on the other setups. For example, today was not an outside day, so this is not in play today. I can hide the outside days report. For example, power hour obviously doesn't start until 3 p.m. Eastern, so I can go over here, I can hide my power hour. Let's say that you don't like to use the opening range breakout, for example. You can go and you can hide that. So you have some customization here on what actually appears in this page. As we add more reports, you'll be able to actually toggle them on and off. We're going to be adding almost every single report that we have in this What's in Play section will allow you to have certain views for like maybe the morning or the pre-market, and then during the day, and then for power hour. So this is actually going to become a lot more robust. It's just right now we don't really need it to be, and we want to display everything so you kind of get a taste of everything that's going on. So let's focus on the actual sections here. So the opening range breakout, or the initial bounce breakout, if we focus on that right now, you can see here, we're looking at the IB, we're looking at the 60-minute IB, so the traditional 1 hour from 9:30 to 10:30. You can see that right over here. And then you can see we have a few different things here. And by the way, if you hover on any of these, all of them have a little tooltip telling you exactly what's what. So just always remember that. I'm sure your mouse will come across it at some point, so you're probably not going to forget. But you can see right here the IB size. Then you can see if price has broken out of the IB today, or broken down, or double broken. And here, what you can see here is that this is a rather large IB for today, and you can see that price did break out. And now if you go to the actual report by clicking on this button right there, you can also see the what's in play here, but this will allow you to actually go and say, hey, I want to look at the buy size right over here, and you can see the orb size, or the IB size for today is over 1%. So what I'll do here is I'll click the over 1%, and now I can see the data. So in this case, initial balance over 1%, 85% of the time in the last 6 months on NQ have only broken one side. And you can see right here, price did break out to the top side of the IB. That is a breakout. If it had broken to the bottom side, that would be a breakdown. So you can see that price did break out, which means that now you don't want to expect price to reverse back and be a double break for today, because there's a very low probability that price is going to double break. Now, if I go back to the what's in play here, you can see, for example, we also have the buy rejection. This tells you which side, based on which side of the IB forms first, whether the low or the high, which side will typically break first. So you can see here, we'll tell you, which I'll go to the report now, will tell you which side of the IB formed first. So today, the low formed first. Right here you can see high or low form first. You can see this is the low. Right over here you can, let me switch this to be the 1 hour so it matches. And you can see, and I will switch to be all. One thing to keep in mind is that looking at your settings is actually very important. And this is a perfect example of that. Right over here, you want to make sure your settings are what you actually want to look at. So you can see here that the low formed first today. This is actually live. This is using today's price action. And for every time in the last 6 months where the low has formed first, the first break has been to the high side almost 80% of the time. So that's exactly what happened here. There was a breakout. That means that price broke out to the top side, which falls in line with the stats right here. So when the low of the IB forms first, you can expect price to break out to the top side just around 80% of the time. Now going into the what's in play, we have obviously a ton of reports. The opening candle continuation is another very strong report with very strong data. What this looks at here is if the first hour, and in this case we're using that first hour, if the first hour of the market open is green, how often does the day close green? So you can see based on the first hour that was actually formed today, that candle was green. We show you the opening price and we show you the close of that first hourly candle. And now you have a bullish bias because if we go to the report, you can see right over here, we're using the 60-minute candle. In the last 6 months on NQ, if that first hour is green, over 80% of the time, the day is going to close green. So that gives you a very bullish bias. And one thing to keep in mind is that you can also combine some of these reports. So obviously the opening candle continuation is very bullish. The IB breaking out to the top side with a very low chance of breaking back to the bottom side is also very bullish. So this is the place where you can start to add or kind of build your confluence, find what's setting up, looking what's in play, what's no longer in play. Now we're going to be really focused on this section in the next few months. So if you have any feedback, any ideas, anything wish list items that you want us to include, right here at the bottom right, click on that and then send us a message on what you want us to include, whether it's a new report that we have, a report variant that we have, a filter, a customization, literally anything, just reach out to us and let us know what you want us to change or update or anything at all. If you guys want to watch live trading every day, we do have a Discord. You can join it right here. It's completely for free. But if this was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Have a good one.